worked.
All right. Let's get this back on track here. My God. Let's go to the PFF grades. So let's start with offense. Tim, I'm going to need the who drop here really, really soon. Brant Banks leads the way for offense with a 79.6 on 29 snaps. My man went out there and had him a ball game. Boys played right tackle, looks like. Pass blocking grade 86.1, run blocking grade of 76.2. Now, I'm sure he was playing in the latter parts of the game against the third and fourth stringers, right? But nonetheless, man, who knows? Maybe he earned a spot on the practice squad. Next is John Fitzpatrick, only 8 snaps, 79.6. I know you see that and think, well, it's not a big sample size. The fact that he only had 8 snaps tells me that's probably tied in 3. Do you agree with that, Tim, right off the bat there?
Oh, yeah. It's Tuck Norris, Musgrave, and Johnny Fitzpatrick for sure, in my mind.
That's what I'm thinking too, man. JJ Lipe, I think is how you say the name. Left guard, 29 snaps, 77.6. Zach Tom played 18 snaps, 77.3. Of course, we're just used to that, those type of scores, right? Tyler, left guard, 20 snaps, 75.5. And then our boy, Matthew Golden, 16 snaps, 74.6. Man, oh man, am I excited about Matthew Golden. Matter of fact, I think we've got that catch. Let me drop this down and we'll come back to the PFF grades. And I think we've got a shot of that where I put a tweet out and just a quick little breakdown of our boy, Matthew Golden. So he wraps up his first preseason of his NFL career with a 72.7 PFF grade on 28 snaps. So the first game he graded out a 65, this game a 74, coming in with a PFF grade of 72.7 on the preseason. Here is that play we were talking about. And I won't go full screen for obvious reasons, but let's roll this thing and take a look at it. Malik Willis, I want to say, rushing them back to the line of scrimmage, kind of getting them on the heels, right? And then drops back. It was basically a 3 verts with a crosser underneath there to Tucker Kraft. And look at it in slow motion here, this adjustment. I mean, Matthew Golden, man, the moment is just not too big for him. Somebody had said something in a tweet. They had responded to my tweet and was like, is it just me? It was something along these lines. Is it just me, or is Matthew Golden the first receiver we've had in a while that just doesn't do anything goofy? It just seems like he always plays under control. You never look up and go, oh, come on, man, there's a missed opportunity. And I get it. We haven't seen very many snaps, but boy, oh boy, in camp and everything else, Jacob, this guy just seems like a pro-ready wide receiver, man. I'm trying to curb the enthusiasm, but damn, it gets harder and harder every day, man.
Yeah, and what's more impressive is, if you look at that, nothing against Malik or whatever, but that could have been an easy interception. And the way that he went back and played the ball and understood that, you talk about late hands. We compare him to Devontae Adams, how he has that kind of aspect. He also seems to have a type of situational awareness where he understands, all right, I got to go back to the ball, make a play on it, or at the very least be a defender and just not let it be an INT. But he's far surpassed anything I ever expected at this point. I mean, it's and you watch him. I mean, he was one thing. Like, there was 2 things I noticed in person. It was how fast he does look, how great he looks, and how freaking huge Kadeem Telfort is on the field. Like, I was like, oh my god, like, wow. I mean, Matthew Goldman, just the way he moves, it just seems, again, effortless, like as if he's not even trying. Just gliding.
I think a good word to describe it, Tim, is instinct too, right? Doesn't it seem like he's got good football instincts?
Yeah, and that's again, I don't know how you teach that, right? That's something you either got or you don't. Some guys get better, the instincts improve as the more they play the game, but some guys just have it, and I think it's so true. Like, to Jacob's point, watching this in slow motion, I think Malik probably could have put a better ball out there, but I do credit our quarterback there in that situation. We're running them up to the line. It's a hurry-up deal. Get everybody set. You could see Seattle scrambling to try and figure out what was happening. And he looked left, and he got to his second read. He saw one-on-one with the bullet, and he fired that ball up there, and Matthew Golden doing what he does, which is go get the football. There are a lot of receivers, especially rookie receivers. That's an interception right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hands down, that's an interception by the DB. Matthew Golden went and took that football away from that defensive back, and it was a thing of beauty. Can't wait to see this on a regular basis, right? We'll get more than 18 snaps a game out of Matthew Golden here real soon, right?
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it, man. So again, there's a little Matthew Golden update. And do you think he'll make the 53-man roster?
That'll be my one prediction that I'm going to go ahead and make. Yeah, I predict Matthew Golden will make the 53.
Bet the farm on it, baby. Bet the farm. So obviously Matthew Golden 74.6, Malik Heath 68.6, Kadeem Telford 66.4 with 32 snaps. I thought he played pretty good ball yesterday based off what I've seen. Josh Jacobs only 2 snaps. We'll just leave that off. Romeo Dobbs 16 snaps, 64.7. Chris Brooks 63, Julian Hicks 63, Emmanuel Wilson 63, Sean Clifford 62, Luke Musgrave 61, Tucker Kraft 60, McCole Hardman 59. Let me just get your all's opinion on McCole Hardman right now up to this point. Based off what we've seen in the preseason, you're looking at a 43, a 65, then a 59. His PFF grade, a 53.2 throughout the preseason. Forget the PFF grade for a minute. Do you guys think he's done enough to make the roster over Malik Heath or not? What do you think, Jake?
Me and Tim had a conversation last night. I don't think so. Tim, I don't know. I just feel like that the talent we have with younger guys is just a little bit too much for him to bypass them. We talk about progress stoppers and that sort of thing. Has your mind changed since last night, Tim?
No, not really. And I think it says more about Malik Heath than it does McCole Hardman. Right. I think McCole Hardman is a proven veteran, world champion wide receiver. Brings you a little bit of depth in the return game, although that didn't look very spectacular this preseason. And then I think with his reps, his receiving reps, those were a little underwhelming as well. And then you flip the coin and look at, my boy Malik Heath, who's a dog. He's been a dog since he's gotten here. I think he's just put together a really solid overall camp. It's important we have to look at that too, right? We just wrapped up this final preseason game. I mean, they're evaluating based on this whole training camp, and a lot of guys may or may not have played their way on or off of this team in this final game. But I don't think McCole Hardman is going to be judged, just solely on this last one. But Malik Heath looks good. I don't know. It's probably one of the tougher decisions in my opinion, but I would have to say, I'll go with Malik Heath slightly for McCole at this point.
Joseph in the chat says, I just don't think he makes the roster over others who bring more roster versatility. And when I think of Malik Heath, I think of somebody who can play that slot bully. He can also play the X, right? Okay. His catch rate over expected last year was really, really impressive. Judy says, I didn't realize Hardman was only 27. It feels like he's been in the league forever. I agree with that for sure.
27 is kind of an OG, though, on this roster, especially in that receiver room.
That's the oldest receiver, right?
Yep.
He's down. So, that's a good point.
There's also the nagging injury history with McCole, too, that, through no fault of his own, he's just a football player. That could be something that contributes as well. You think of someone getting older. Do you want to hold out a roster spot for a younger guy with someone with a little bit of an injury history?
Right. Not so cool in the chat says, I think Hardman stays over Heath. Listen, I want to be very clear. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, right? I'm just simply saying if I was building the roster, I would rather have Malik Heath because it's obvious you were a run-heavy team last year. Malik Heath is going to be better at blocking in the run game. He had the highest catch rate over expected of any receiver on the Packers last year, albeit there was minimal snaps, but he showed that he can make big-time plays, in crucial situations when he's got someone right there in the phone booth with him, right? McCole Hardman, world-class speed. He can run the end arounds, jet sweeps, things like that. The drops is what worries me in the preseason. I keep thinking to that out route that he dropped. And I know Malik Heath's had drops as well, but I don't know. For me, I think I'm taking Heath just because of the versatility for sure. Hardman for utility overall, says Holmes, MD1. So,
great point. It's a close call either way. I don't think any of us can predict this with any certainty,
Yeah. What I would ask, though, is if Hardman doesn't make the team, who's our punt returner? Who's the kick returner?
Keyshawn Nixon said earlier this week that he wanted to return kicks.
So he's back on that?
Yeah. Okay. And you notice no one else really returned kicks much other than
Abani Conda. Yeah.
So, I think it's probably going to be Keyshawn, and behind him, who knows, right? And that's where Hardman does have some value. Although you guys remember, dude, didn't he muff 2 fumbles or muff 2 punts in one preseason game? Hardman?
Yep. Well, he had one that was a bad judgment, he caught one on like the 3-yard line and got absolutely blown up. And then there was the one he muffed after that. So yeah, two blunders in the return game. Yeah, that was that first preseason game, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, had a fumble too. Drew said there. So yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we'll see how it shakes out, and then we're going to find out here real soon. And again, we'll do a full deep dive into the projected 53-man roster tomorrow. We'll get I put a thing up on Patreon. I was combing through Matt Schneidman's article earlier today, so I threw his 53-man roster projection on Patreon so everybody can take a look at it, and we'll include it on the show tomorrow and kind of dive into it, see what we agree with, disagree. I got to be honest, there wasn't many I disagreed with on there for sure. You can check that out over at patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. So, all right, moving along here. Did anybody at the bottom of the list maybe hurt themselves from making the roster? There's Abanaconda, 42.7. Johnny Lumpkin, 31.4. I think we would all agree we didn't expect him to make the team. Lasita Smith kind of surprised me, 44.6, because he played some center yesterday, right? Am I thinking right?
I think so.
I think he did play center.
I think so.
He played 51 snaps yesterday. It didn't look like it was a good day there, especially in run blocking, but
it was more like Belton again. I'm sure like you were going to highlight. Me and Tim we were talking. Remember we were saying something positive about Belton, and then literally like 20 seconds later they threw the flag on him, and the Seahawks guy in front of us was just like, "Is that the guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's the guy."
Yeah, exactly. All right,
he's a rookie. What are you going to do, right? We'll clean that up.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. All right, so there is the offensive breakdown from the game against the Seahawks. Let's move on to defense.